Hey there, with the sudden emergence and rapid development of anti-ship missiles, these mysterious the dominant position of aircraft carriers, which once ruled the seas, has been on a downward slide, and they are now facing unprecedented threats. As for China, it's been pushing forward in the anti-ship missile race, achieving incredible progress. In recent years, various anti-ship missile systems specifically designed to target us, carrier strike groups, have been popping up like mushrooms after a rain, one after another. And their strike capabilities are getting more and more powerful, as if they're on steroids. This makes us wonder, do we really have the ability to make the US's 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers lose their way? Before we dive in, please use your lucky little hand to give a like and a follow. Otherwise, if you miss the exciting content later, don't come crying. Let's turn back the clock to 2016. Back then, the overall strength of the Chinese Navy was like a sapling compared to the towering tree it is today. But even then, we already had a type of anti-ship ballistic missile tailor-made for US carrier strike groups. So, when the US military swaggered in with 2 carrier strike groups, wanting to show off and apply pressure in the South China Sea, under the threat of China's terrifying anti-ship missiles, they retreated in a panic, as if they had seen a ghost. This incident proved that even with limited strength at the time, our country had the capability to deter US carrier incursions. Now, China's anti-ship missile force has grown into a giant heavy hitters like the DF-21D, DF-26, CJ-2100, and YJ-21 anti-ship missiles have already made their grand debuts and are in service. Each one can deliver a devastating blow to a US carrier strike group. And what's more, the longer-range DF-27 ballistic missile, a mysterious big boss about to appear, will soon be unveiled. Once it debuts, our strike range will be further expanded, even covering US bases behind the Third Island chain. It's worth mentioning that in addition to deploying anti-ship missiles on land, our country has also installed them on destroyers. This is like equipping our anti-carrier capabilities for long-range missions with a super engine, making them instantly much stronger. Although the number of our active aircraft carriers is still dwarfed by the US, with the help of anti-ship missiles, this divine assistant, the actual combat power gap between the two sides has been greatly reduced. We can comfortably stop a US carrier strike group from getting close to our doorstep. From a strategic perspective, we hold a huge advantage. However, for anti-ship missiles to unleash their terrifying power, they need the support of the satellite navigation system, the hero behind the scenes. Take Iran, for example. Even though they have anti-ship missiles, because they lack advanced satellite navigation capabilities, they can only first send out drones, like little detectives, to find the carrier's location, and then launch the missile to attack. This method is like a bird without wings when fighting in the open sea. It's completely ineffective. But China is different. We have our independently developed Beidou satellite navigation system. Its performance is not at all inferior to the US's GPS. Even if the US blocks GPS, we will be completely unaffected, as if nothing happened. With this prerequisite, China's anti-ship missiles can perform a precise strike on a US carrier, as if they have eyes. Speaking of which, I can't help but give a big thumbs up to the researchers in our country who have worked so hard for this. Everyone, don't say anything in the comments section. Just type Chinese military industry 666. This is the best support for our motherland. Backed by these new strategic weapons like anti-ship missiles, China already has the conventional strike capability to threaten US aircraft carriers. However, to achieve the goal of hitting anywhere in the world in 1 hour, we can't accomplish it with conventional forces for now. Although China now has hypersonic missiles, the range is still limited. Although we might develop longer-range conventional strike weapons in the future, to truly achieve the goal of hitting anywhere in the world in 1 hour, it seems that for now, the only possibility is through nuclear weapons. However, hitting anywhere in the world in 1 hour wasn't what the US military originally envisioned when they proposed this concept. Initially, the US military planned to develop a hypersonic conventional missile to achieve long-range precision strikes. But due to a lack of technology, this goal was ultimately not achieved on time. The key to the US seemingly having the ability to hit anywhere in the world in 1 hour now is that they have many overseas military bases around the globe. Relying on these forward bases, no matter where a conflict breaks out, the US military can rush out like the flash from the nearest base to launch a strike on any global target. In short, although China hasn't yet massively deployed overseas military bases, as our naval power continues to expand into the open seas, this will eventually have to be put on the agenda. To maintain long-term military power projection in the open seas, building some logistics support bases in foreign countries is an inevitable trend. If large warships like aircraft carriers are constantly on missions in the open sea, logistics and other things might not be able to keep up. In that case, there would be no need to develop nuclear-powered aircraft carriers. Netizens are also buzzing about this. Some say to use arsenal ships instead of overseas bases, and to equip the arsenal ships with weapons like the DF-17, DF-21D, DF-26B, and DF-2, these great killers. By including these arsenal ships in the carrier fleet, we could deter enemies from 5,000 to 8,000 kilometers away. And we would only need a small number of overseas military bases. Others believe that the protagonist of future warfare will no longer be the carrier strike group. Although US aircraft carriers can still intimidate most countries today, for China, the era of simply relying on strength has long passed. For a matter this big, strategic wisdom, courage, decisiveness, and a powerful presence are all indispensable. The most taboo thing is hesitation. Being overly cautious is truly terrible. We must still strive to develop and have the powerful capability to eliminate enemies anywhere. We will never seek hegemony. But we will absolutely not allow others to bully us. So, once our economic and military strength becomes even stronger, China may consider building military bases in suitable locations to deploy conventional strike forces and truly achieve the capability to hit anywhere in the world in 1 hour. However, maintaining overseas bases costs a lot of money. So, we don't need to consider this when our national strength is not yet powerful enough. After all, we already have the conventional strike capability to threaten our opponents, as well as the nuclear power that makes our enemies tremble. This is more than enough to protect the security of our country. This is more than enough to protect the security of our country.